welcome to the. I can't do it like I can't do it like he does.
I'll say welcome.
Yeah, well, what's up, y'all? It's Thursday. Clark's not here. Currently on the East Coast in Atlanta, it is 2:30 in the morning, so Randy's not here. And we had a guest drop out last minute this week. So today you're going to get me, the one and only Lord Battle. I'm joined by the lovely Oksana, as always.
Hi.
Talking to the mic. I need to get a read.
I wasted a good joke.
It wasn't good. No, but you're much more audible now. Again, normally we talk on Zencastr with people, so plug for Zencastr. Randy gets a nice, even track for everybody, and he can mix them independently. Not today, as we're going old school, and I'm mixing this on the board live, and I'm running it. But I'm going to have some help today from my good buddy Jahsaudi, who's here with me.
What's up?
It's currently 11:30 p.m. here on the West Coast, and we just got done wrapping Blu-ray Tuesday. I say we, yet I do nothing. I literally make the thumbnail. It's the best project we've ever done. Where we have Oksana editing and you shooting it, Jahsaudi, which it looks beautiful. And
it's the most consistent work I've done.
Good. I hope you have fun. I hope you have fun. I know today you did.
No, it's fun. Every week is fun. I mean, I have fun just seeing what Terrell can do every single week.
Yeah.
And seeing him just turn the fuck up. Because from the first episode to like what he's doing now is just, it's crazy. Like once somebody gets used to a camera.
Get back on that mic. You're coming in so quiet.
Why am I? What the? Can you hear me?
Okay, now you're peeking. Don't get angry. No, but yeah, Terrell, dude, he eased into it quick. At first he was so timid.
Hell scared.
Again, if you're not watching his YouTube video, go over there and watch it. He's pretty good at it. For as much as I'm kind of allergic to the whole vlogger thing, I don't know. He seems kind of built for it. And today, he came in. We're up late tonight because he got early tickets to go see Halloween Kills at the newly remastered AMC down on Van Ness, which I thought that place was just done. Like I thought they were closing it for good, and it kind of hurt because that was my favorite high school theater to go to. I always drove out there, and that's where we saw everything. But he just came back. I guess they put in all new recliners in there, and he got to see an early Halloween Kills, and he came back pretty energetic.
Yeah, he had a lot of energy.
I didn't expect it. Also, he had a backpack on, which I don't know why I didn't question. But in it, he was hiding a Child's Play costume that may be the most disturbing thing I've ever seen anybody wear.
Yeah, it was that thing was so hideous. Like if they do another remake of Child's Play as a movie and they just had him play, like that would be the scariest thing ever.
Well, he looked like he had walked out of The Hills Have Eyes. Like the remake where like it's like a nuclear town and there's a bunch of inbred people. The thing. Wait, what was that movie? Oh my God, The Hills Run Red. Is that what it's? Do you remember? There's a giant dude and he wears a little baby mask.
Oh my God. Look
that up. You come on. You're the Jamie on this show. The Hills Run Red, I think. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad I pulled that name. Look at the images on there again.
Oh shit.
We're on YouTube. Oksana, she screen captures her computer the whole show. So if you ever want to watch it,
I've seen the cover. Is this movie good?
So if you've seen The Hills Run Red, Terrell looked very similar to the killer in that movie. Anyway, by now Clark's in bed. Randy's been asleep, and he reached out. Earlier today he texted me and said, "Hey, why don't you have Jahsaudi on there and talk about Lamb?" So if you listen to the episode on Tuesday, you were probably as shocked as I was to find out that neither Clark or Randy had watched Lamb. Those two worship A24.
Exactly.
And they didn't go see Lamb.
I'm especially surprised by Randy because I thought he would have been right there right when it came out.
Again, to Randy's defense, he did say that he had the opportunity to watch Lamb or Knocking, which, did you hear our episode where we had Robbie on?
The recent one?
Oh
the
my
one.
God.
Wait, which one?
Yeah,
oh yeah, the one. Yeah, Robbie. Yeah, I did listen to that one.
You're like, who the hell is Robbie?
Who the fuck is Robbie?
Robbie Smith, you're going to be working with him one day.
I know I am.
Yeah, he came on and he was telling us all his picks from Fantastic Fest.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Knocking. And I guess in Atlanta they show Cool Watch. I bet that's playing out here. Is it?
I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay, good. Then I don't feel bad. But yeah, unfortunately we went and saw Lamb.
Unfortunately.
I just wanted to see if you're awake. We're drinking wine right now. Oksana made us a couple of mixed drinks for our late night party. Actually, this is going to be like an episode of The Overlook that there's never been. What? We're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're going to turn the fuck up.
I'll see how much you pay attention to the conversation. Normally, I'm looking across and Clark has his glasses on and I can't read him, but...
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fucking asshole.
All right.
I was just playing. I love you, Clark.
Again, I mentioned on the show that I watched Lamb and I wasn't feeling it. And I was kind of like, this is kind of like a paint by numbers indie film. It felt very like, just uninspired. I feel mean saying all this because I'm recalling to a mind frame that I don't have anymore. Because when we got home that night, me and you hung outside and we just talked about the movie.
Yeah.
While we were waiting for people to show up, and I ended up kind of like flipping on it. And
yeah,
I went,
like
you know
right
what?
In that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it now. So
It always takes me a minute like that from certain movies. Like, very rarely have I just like left out of a movie and like, oh my god, I really love this. Like, it takes me a minute. I gotta really like soak it up. I gotta think about because this movie was very, very, very subtle about everything. It seems like there was nothing that was just like right in your face, so it forced you to really have to think about it.
Well, when we get into it, you want to set it up?
Oh no, I'm scared.
What do you mean you're scared? You're supposed to have a podcast out by now. Remember the last 3 times you were on here?
I recorded it, and I think it may have gotten deleted on accident.
You're lying.
I swear.
You're fucking lying.
No, I'm serious, and I feel like shit because we used a Zoom recorder like Randy has in the show.
Yeah.
At times when you heard like
it worked out great.
Yeah. So I also have a Zoom recorder, and I use to record the podcast. I also lent that recorder off to someone else to use. Forgot that the SD card was still in there.
Okay.
And he may have formatted the card and.
Oh, what? Yeah. Well, that's not on you.
No, it's not. No. I'm just saying, like, damn.
No, I don't know. You're carrying some guilt, like it was your fault.
I mean, yeah, because I lent it out and I forgot to load the. SD card to the computer.
You were like, this needs to go away.
But also, we do need to re-record that.
You told your buddy, just format it. Just erase it.
Podcast is tricky, man. I don't see how y'all do it.
I don't know. When we first started doing it like 5 years ago, I couldn't even talk into the damn mic. I'm like, who the fuck's going to care what we have to say? And I still kind of feel like that now.
You guys sound like professionals now, though.
Yeah. That's a good and a bad thing.
Why?
Because I'm telling you, people still come up and they're like, hey, man, how much money you make doing that? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, people are asking me that. That means it's a good thing.
You're like, none. And I don't know. Honestly, it's 11:40. I'm not going to get into this. I'm backing off of it now. No, I'm excited to do some Tired Drunk talk about Lamb. Can you go up so I can read the synopsis? Unless you want to take a shot at it.
A childless... Oh, my bad.
Go for it.
A childless couple... My eyesight is bad, too. A childless couple, Maria and Ingvar, discover a mysterious newborn on their farm in Iceland. The unexpected prospect of family life brings them much joy before ultimately destroying them.
Good job. Now, if you'd gone to the movie at any point, and I mean... local movie theaters, whatever. If you've seen any genre film, chances are they played a trailer of Lamb before.
Yes.
And you must have seen the little anthropomorphic lamb walking hand in hand like a biped with a larger human. It was very Paddington Bear.
Yeah.
Which probably became my favorite part of the theater experience that we had, as Terrell flipped out when that lamb came out and had a human body. Now, I think I can't imagine us not getting into spoiler territory here.
Yeah, it's like if you say anything about the movie, it's going to spoil it pretty much.
Well, I also feel like it won't, because literally this film is that what you read. It's a couple who they find a baby lamb person.
Well, it doesn't say that in the synopsis.
I know, but it says it in all the imagery. If you Google it and like on the trailer, and it happens fairly quickly in the movie too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I didn't like it in the theater, because I'm like, we aren't doing anything. Like it was very slice of life, like the pacing of the film and the way everything was shot. A lot of exteriors, a lot of like. Is it wide or long? What's the right term for that?
Wide is like you could see more from left to right. Using a long lens would be more like.
I'm talking about in framing. Like, is it like a close up and a medium shot? Would it be a long?
Nah, it would just.
Oh
like,
my god! Didn't you go to school for this? Don't you have like a degree?
No, I dropped out of school. But
first off, talking to the mic.
Wait, hello?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, what do you like? What shot are you saying specifically? Like, I wish we had like just a whole bunch of.
No. I just mean like in technical terminology. So when I took my film history class and I was learning, one of the first conversations we ever had, I think I was talking about film history 101. Yeah. And your first response, the first thing you said was, "I'm fucking sick of oh my god, what is the movie?
Birth of a Nation.
There you go. I couldn't pull the name.
Oh yeah.
You're like, fuck the Birth of a Nation,
bruh. It's like, okay, like I get it. Like
it's a pretty cliche commentary coming from a black fellow, if I should say.
No, like
because us whites, we love it.
No, like in film, like just imagine like going to a film school in LA, and it's like every class you're learning about like a different aspect of film, and then it's like, yeah, midterms coming up, you gotta watch this movie, and Birth of a Nation is like all like that happened like 3 times. And I'm like, I get, and it's like, and then they always give you the speech in the beginning, like, you know, we understand this has some like really bad like racial tones, but you know, for the time, it was very technically advanced and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I get that, but I don't want to keep watching this shit. Fuck this shit.
It changed the game, and like the editing and framing in that film is echoed through everything. It's like one of the cornerstones of a cinema language. And I think I have a different approach to it because the teacher I had, he was like, hey, we're going to watch Birth of a Nation, and I don't care how you feel about it. He's like, it's an important film. You're going to watch it or you're not going to pass the test.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, what the hell? Because I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And we went into it, and I was just kind of like, oh, shit. But this is the same guy who, he came in there, and he was like, hey, American culture might tell you that when you watch a movie, it's time to eat. He's like, not in here. He's like, also, American culture might have you really anticipating the end of a film and enjoying maybe a twist or scene where it's going. He's like, not here. You're going to read about the movie before we watch it, and a good film will stand on its own. And you can't ruin the story because it's a visual medium. And he was just so matter-of-fact about it.
That's good, yeah.
I was kind of just like, oh, shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sat up straight.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this. And Birth of a Nation, the thing, you know, like when Lincoln gets the barrel put to his head, it's like a long shot. Long shot?
Long shot.
Longer? Like what? You don't know.
I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Like, it, like...
The subject is far away.
The subject is far away.
Like, if a close-up, it's like, you know, you're on their face. What's the opposite of that?
Maybe. Maybe right. Like, I don't really know all the technical terms. I'm not gonna lie to you. Fuck. I mean, like, bruh.
I'm sorry. I had to put you on the spot with this dumb shit.
Well, honestly, it's like you gotta think about it. I'm in the Bay Area. I'm not shooting like Hollywood. I'm not working on like Hollywood sets. Yeah. So a lot of the terminology isn't really thrown around like that. Like the Bay Area is mostly commercial shit. Like I'm shooting.
Oh, for sure.
Commercial stuff or just like documentary style. So it's like I'm like a lot of these terms isn't, you know, it's even though we in the same state, literally 6 hours separate, like you're gonna get different terminology.
You shut the hell up.
It is. No, it's true. Like, okay.
Well, you know, it's just like, were you ever into the German New Wave?
No.
Okay. See, all I've taken is film theory and like history, so I know like all those like little pockets. And one of my favorite things about like independent film is, you know, when you don't have a huge budget and you're not editing like crazy, you get shots that the subject is far away or the framing has a lot of negative room in it, like negative space. And it really allows you as an audience member to like kind of ponder or like just think about the moment and kind of like live in it. And I think Lamb had a lot of that, except until post-screening when we're talking about it, I couldn't really appreciate... There's a thing you can do where a film doesn't outright make sense or things don't seem to be that interesting. And you're like, well, if I look at it this way... And you like are kind of like repainting the film, or I think when we were watching, I called what did I say? It's like if I'm gonna do mental laps trying to make this movie more interesting, I had come up with the theory that like okay, so when we're watching the film, a lamb or a sheep, right? That's a adult lamb.
Wait, so are sheep and lamb the same thing? That's what I was thinking about during the film too.
We're recording.
Yes.
Don't ask. Okay, good. Good.
They are.
Yeah, of course they are.
Okay,
You didn't know that?
I'm sorry. I wasn't
very
live on a farm.
Yeah. So a sheep gives birth to, you know, we see a lot of birthing in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's very visceral and it's not something you see in regular urban life. So it kind of worked as like again, like if I'm trying to make an argument for this being a horror movie, which I really don't think it is, even though Ep284 kind of marketed it.
I can see
the tone in the trailer.
The tone in the trailer, yeah. But maybe it's just me with Ep284 where I just like, okay, this isn't gonna be just a horror film.
What about like Saint Maud? So I got into a conversation with somebody. Okay, see, I think the third act of that movie.
Actually, I didn't finish Saint Maud.
Why? You
I hate
weren't
not
into
finishing movies, but I was watching. It's super slow. It's hella slow. It is not much going on, and the main character isn't that interesting, honestly. But I need to finish it to really have it full.
Look at you backtrack. You're trying to make excuse. What did you do? Fall asleep?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
It's just I don't know. It was just too like. I don't know. Maybe it's too artsy. I shouldn't say that now because I like watching some artsy shit.
I actually think you'd be into Saint Maud. It's one of those things where if you're nodding through a movie, if you're Saint Nod through a movie, it's really hard to pick up on like tone and like nuance. And that's why I was trying to describe it in the last time we recorded because y'all were falling asleep or passed out during VHS 94.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That movie was garbage. So.
But that's why I was bugging y'all because I know when I'm at like a theater and I'm like fading in and out, even if my brain is telling me like, no, you're awake, you're getting it, you're doing it. It's like, no, I'm not, because this shit ain't sinking in.
Yeah.
And when I go back, I'll be like, oh, I completely missed this whole subplot, even though my eyes were open.
I mean, with VHS, I'll try to do that, but
you don't have to go back to VHS. You weren't like pumped about it.
The acting is just so bad. That's all I need. The visual effects I can be fine with, even if it doesn't look as real. That's fine. It's just if I feel like if I'm taken out of the story, where it's just like, damn, this feels hella formulated. Like you can literally feel when the actor is waiting for his next line. Yeah. Like when it's that bad, then it's like I'm not watching a movie. I'm watching two actors build up for their reel so they can work with fucking.
You know,
I don't know.
When you were saying that night
Transformers and Fast and Furious movie.
Well, I was arguing with you about it. Well, the acting in Fast and Furious isn't bad. It's just like
it's not.
It's just campy.
No, I know. I'm not saying. I wasn't saying it's bad. I'm saying like it just seemed like the actors were acting, whereas like fucking Willem Dafoe is being that person. So
the thing is, you're watching found footage, and when shit comes across very scripted. Mm-hmm. You can't deny it. It changes everything, and that was one of my main critiques about that. It was like every short, even the rap they all felt very scripted. Yeah, and it's like, man, you don't want that. You need a weirdo like Adrian Tofay. Yeah, and because you watched Be My Cat at the first right?
Oh my god, I don't think I did.
Okay, we gotta watch that.
It wasn't. Yeah, because I was working then, so my schedule was weird. So I wasn't able to see all the movies at the first half.
Yeah, still. Oh, man.
But a lot of
bring
directors
this back
do
to
that.
Lamb. I find myself not excited about it.
Wait, so by the way, a long shot is a wide shot. It's just different terminology.
Were you looking that up on your phone?
I just want to see. Yeah, I want to see. I ain't fucking dumb. Look, I'm a fucking filmmaker. I shoot. I don't know what to call myself. I shoot videos at this point. I'm not a cinematographer yet, but I'm aspiring to be. But right now I'm just doing like commercial shit, and so like I was like, I should know this. Hold on. But it's wide shot. It's the same thing. Cool. They just call it. I don't know why they call it long shot.
I'm ready for you to start directing.
I want to direct. So, well, I have something in the works for F. It's going to come out before F.
Oh, is it a podcast?
No, it's a film.
You might accidentally delete again.
Yeah. But like to your point, I think in the beginning of Lamb, when they're like birthing all the different lambs and like how violent that shit is. I remember Terrell was saying like damn, like when the lamb was like baby lamb. What do you call baby lamb?
A
veal.
A veal.
Isn't lamb just a baby sheep?
Yeah.
What? Oh, maybe.
We already been over that.
I don't know.
Again,
when the lamb was getting up, literally right at like seconds after birth.
Yeah.
Like Terrell was like, "Oh my god, it's already able to walk," and like I was explaining to him like, yeah, like humans are probably like the only animals that have to be taken care of like for a long time before we learn how to do anything, whereas like other animals, right when they're born, they know how to walk and they start to get instincts like immediately.
They hit the ground running.
Yeah
That's why it's so important not to split them up with their parents. You get weird behaviors out of them. They really learn everything super quick.
Man,
which actually that's something I didn't think about, because when we see a couple of the lambs being born, and one of them, the way it's framed, we can't really tell that the little guy's got human digits or anything. Yeah. But the lady, what are these Icelandic actors' names? Are they even worth attempting?
One was Ingvar was the husband, and Maria.
Oh my god!
Wait, scroll down more.
Oh, the real names. Oh,
what's her character name?
Numi is her real name.
Rapace. You know, she has a really interesting look. Like I would want to shoot her because I like her like face structure.
The bone structure, yeah. She's got high cheekbones. She looks model-esque, which was pretty interesting.
The casting was on point for this.
Well, it's cool because you have a couple of pretty people out there in the most remote like farmland ever.
But I didn't think she was traditionally pretty though. Like she had like this roughness to her.
Do you think it was earned or like she was born with it? Because I felt like they were like without ever articulating it, they felt like they were urban people who had moved out into the farm. Like that wasn't where they didn't grow up there. Like it felt like they were removed. And which actually later on in the film, with the theory I had, I think they kind of back that up with the dad.
How so?
Because his brother's introduced in a car full of people all wearing. They look like they just got out of like some metal show, and they throw them out of the car.
I wonder what that was about too, because they never explain it, even through dialogue.
Well, okay, I'm doing a bad job of like getting into this thing, but when Maria brings the baby in, she takes to it in a way that felt very uncharacteristic, even from the short period of time we've known her.
Why?
And well, just because the way she treated all the other animals. This one, she was like holding like a baby, but it was so like it came out of a sheep. So we're like, what the hell's going on?
Exactly. Yeah.
And from that moment of like intrigue, it's kind of the rest of the film. The baby's on camera a lot, in frame. It's not too long before it's like walking. And so in the movie, you get kind of like a Polanski's Repulsion thing going on, where you're like, this girl's probably living in a alternate reality where this probably isn't a real lamb person. It's probably just a regular baby, like, animal. And we're just seeing, like, through the visual medium. Actually, with the Titane that we covered, like, 2 weeks ago. Like, everything was kind of a visual metaphor.
Okay.
Well, you didn't get that from Lamb? Like, the whole time, it's like, that ain't a real, like... Minotaur baby.
I definitely thought about that, but then maybe because every Sunday I film for this church. And
okay, what? Where are you going with this?
You're gonna see where I'm going.
Okay.
So, every Sunday I film for this church. The homie Pastor Chris. I mean, I'm not a Christian at all, but he's dope. And he basically had this. His sermon had something to do with like the blood of Jesus and all that shit. But he mentioned like in the Old Testament of like you took the blood of the lamb, to put it on the doors. For like I guess when Moses and like when they had all the shit
Passover,
yeah, he was talking about Passover, and he explained it in a dope way. I'm just horrible at explaining it, but when he was talking about the blood of the lamb, I was like, is this movie trying to get biblical on a motherfucker? Well, hold on, because I don't know.
Okay,
no, I forgot where I was going with this. No, because it talks about, the film talks about sacrifice.
Well, you could also look at it as like a miracle kid. Kind of like...
like Jay.
Yeah, well, it's just like this baby came out in the stable. Yeah. And it's like, manger birth. Except it's not from a human.
Her name is fucking Maria.
Yeah. And
that's the name of Jesus' mama.
Oh. The demigod Jesus that came out. No, and... I don't know. I feel like religion in art house film is just it's the first go-to of cliche, everybody. Yeah. And we're in a Christian culture here. So but this is Icelandic. I think they're actually even more Christian up there.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, that's where like a lot of black metal comes from. Is Lutheran
like that documentary that I like.
What documentary?
The one that
Until the Darkness Takes.
Okay, yeah. I like that documentary.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's
good entry. I don't
entry. Calling me a basic bitch to metal because I like that.
Well, it's not metal. It's just black metal. Like,
what's wrong with black? What you got against black metal?
Well, it's kind of like imagine if we were living in a reality where rap was not huge. Mm-hmm. And the only attention it got was because a rapper had murdered a bunch of people in like a brutal way.
That's rap now.
Well, not really.
Yeah, are you serious?
What about the baby?
The baby, he got big because he murdered somebody.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit. He got canceled. Well,
mass like the people who didn't know exactly. But I'm saying like when he first got started in the game. Yeah. It was like if you into rap, like people knew him because of that shit that happened in Walmart when he shot somebody. Like they had a video and hella shit. If you think about like you're not gonna know these artists, but like there's this artist.
Throw them out there. I'm surprised.
Okay, Lil Durk and King Von.
Love Little Durk.
Durk. Love Little Durk. But like Lil Durk and King Von. These two artists from Chicago, and King Von got killed and on his come up, but he raps about killing people, and it's proven that King Von was a killer too. So like, it's like that's how rap has transformed so much now, where it's like it's so much in your face that it's almost like a promotional device of how these artists are, because it's more and more people who really live that life that are artists now. Yeah, like, labels don't give a fuck. Like they're not saying like, oh, well, we got to find somebody who's like approachable. Like they just picking them up, motherfuckers off the street. Like, all right, you live the rough life, you can make a hit single.
Oh, let's go. We've come full circle. They're doing Cypress Hill again. Basically. Where it's like, hey, you, get in the limo. We'll give you some lyrics. No, but the whole idea, or the point I was trying to make, is that I feel like black metal broke into more popular culture, like cultural zeitgeist, just from the horrific like killings, because it was such an interesting thing, and it's not an easy threshold to get in because that music is kind of like, I in the academic world, I've heard it related to like operatic music a lot, or like classical, where it's kind of like you got to like train your ear to it, but like, dude, it's so popular now. There's so many like hipster black metal bands. Well, actually now I don't know so much, but yeah, same thing.
It's just like rap. Like people get big off of their mentality. Like just like I was, we had a conversation about this before. It's like, you like rap is like the only genre or probably like on par with black metal, where if like you don't really live that shit, then it's like nobody's gonna want to hear you.
For sure. Well,
like,
black metal, not traditional metal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Disturbed doesn't need any street cred.
Yeah.
But there are black metal groups where it's like, oh, that dude, he murdered 3 people and now he's in the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's got a demo out that's like unlistenable. I can't remember that dude's name. That's a real guy though, and I remember I went down a late night rabbit hole online and ended up on some forum where some dude's like, it's my cousin. He's still like fucking up. He's like threatening every.
It's somebody's
it's
cousin.
stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, no, so okay. I don't know. Do you want to talk about Lamb?
Yeah, I want to talk about fucking Lamb. Look, man. Like, okay, so what do you think about the brother? Do you think the brother you think that motherfucker is
all right?
cool?
So the husband in this movie doesn't react in any way when his wife brings in the little anthropomorphic sheep minotaur thing.
That gets better. The CGI gets better over time.
So there's a puppet in this movie, and when she lays the thing in a crib, it is fully animatronic, and it looked great.
Yeah.
And then they start getting cute with it. Oh my god!
When they started to have it walk in, like when it walked into the kitchen, that scene, I was like, "What the?" You know what it reminded you?
It reminded me of Paddington Bear. I'm not joking.
Did you? I never seen Paddington Bear.
I haven't either.
But yeah, the ads. I know what you're talking about. But you never watched Sopranos, did you?
No, I haven't.
So Clark will probably remember this because I think he's watched Sopranos, but. So they had
he loves the show, yeah.
So they had an episode in Sopranos where because the whole show is about Tony and his relationship with his mom, and his mom is like this older lady. I forgot her name, the actress who plays her, but
Eddie Falco.
Yeah, Eddie Falco. But basically,
is it? I don't know. I just she pulled up IMDb. I saw some old lady with the.
So
that's not her. Carmela Soprano. Eddie Falco?
Is it
right under James Gandolfini on there?
I don't know. No, because she's like fat.
Oh damn!
Yeah, her. I think.
Talking to the mic.
I think it's.
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember fully. Sorry, the actual name. But basically, the mom. So yeah, most of the show is about like his relationship with the mom. So apparently, I was watching the episode one day, and I was. Like he comes in one day to talk to her and they're arguing, but like her face seemed really weird. And if you Google it on YouTube, if you type in like,
if you Google it on YouTube,
if you Google it, or it's a double entendre. If you type in like Sopranos CGI mom, it'll pop up because it looked really bad. It was so bad that I had to like Google it.
Yeah,
and apparently the real actress died in the middle of like shooting.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And so
I thought she was still alive.
No, she's dead. No, for the mom, Tony Soprano's mom.
Oh, okay, not his wife.
Yeah, not his wife. Yeah, I think that was supposed to be his wife.
I gotcha.
So his mom. So basically, yeah, she died in the middle of them shooting. So this was like, so yeah, but they still wanted to film this scene. But the thing is, they could have took the scene out of it. But I don't know why they kept it. But
it was probably early 2000s too, right?
It's early 2000s CGI, and it looks horrible. In that scene, it reminded me of that scene, like seeing the lamb first come in, like when it was walking. It reminded me of that. It was like, ooh, this looks bad. Like you can kind of see it like flutter a little, like the sides of the of the lamb and the person. You could tell these are two separate things.
Yeah,
they're trying to match together. But I mean, to respect the people who do that shit, like that's extremely hard.
Well, okay. Now, what I was talking about running laps mentally to try and defend the movie, I could do that here too. I think having a confrontational CGI creature is kind of it's jarring to the audience in a way that might alert them to like, hey, this shit is fake. Like it's fake. Like she's living in a phony reality. And her husband is kind of propping it up because he never even talks about it. They never even have a conversation of what are you doing? And they have a crib in their room and they look kind of like ready for it.
Yeah, they were prepared. That's what I feel like they were preparing for. Like their reaction was never like, "Oh my god, what is this? This is weird." It was like just excitement.
Yeah, but then we have the mama sheep.
Yeah,
She's not very happy, and she hangs outside the window and just baws at them. And here's the thing with A24. I don't love them. I do think they are like a genre. They have a style that's very.
You don't love A24?
I don't love them.
Why not?
I think they're too cute with the shit. I think my problem with Lamb was that it felt very like in its lane. Like with the Lighthouse, dude, for a movie with two actors who I wanted to watch like play off each other, and for a setting that I thought was really interesting, like isolation on a lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's just like I had problems with like the mise en scène of the movie. I felt like there was too much island. It's kind of like as an audience member, how you have a map of the landscape of the film. Like Hitchcock talked a lot about it with Notorious, where
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's good.
B.I.G.
Have you seen a lot of Hitchcock?
No.
I actually think of the Duran Duran song.
I haven't watched any Hitchcock film ever.
You're lying.
I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, if it doesn't pop up, like my mom's a huge fan.
I just remember seeing the scene in Birds. My mom was watching one day. I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Birds is a weird one. Like, for being one of the like Bay Area, like, cause it's in Bodega Bay.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, it's one of like the 3 films that they call like his, I don't know, Central California, and my mom has the fucking Barbie, which is actually really cool, where she comes being molested by a bunch of little plastic birds. Dude, it's great. Shit. Yeah, when you got to come over there, I'll show it to you. Yeah. But like the movie, man, I'm not a huge fan.
What, Lighthouse?
Oh, Lighthouse, I'm not a fan. Birds,
Why?
I'm not a huge fan.
Lighthouse is a really good movie.
Lighthouse is whack.
Why? What is mise en scène?
So there's Oksana. What's the movie that I liked a lot more than Lighthouse?
Cold
Skin. We got to watch that. You'll hate it because I think you hate a lot of like action, like mid-range action movies.
What is mid-range action? I like action.
Low-level studio films. You're not a huge fan of.
Low levels don't get no. I just don't like when. What is that mean? What are you trying to say?
Like horror movies, they always have like 3 different kind of tiers. There's like micro budget to like low budget indie. Then you get like there are big budget like The Conjuring and stuff.
Oh,
right?
but you're saying
and then there's like in the middle.
The middle. Okay, that's a fair because when it's like really really low, then there's something I can appreciate out of it. And when it's like high, okay, like but. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the mid, it's not fun. I think the last mid tier horror movie I watched with you was Itsy Bitsy.
I hated that.
I know you did, and I kind of like the chaos that comes out of those weird films where they don't have a ton of money but they're trying, and it's like it looks worse than every micro budget movie to me. Like I hate all the pretty people in there. Everybody feels like they've it's like a high school play. Yeah. Like they just learned their lines and
exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. What the hell was I talking about?
What's mise en scène?
Cold Skin.
Do you want to Google mise en scène?
I just want to know the definition so I can
It's the arrangement of scenery and stage properties in a play. So here's a.
So you didn't get a full. You didn't get the lay of the land.
No, I did.
Of the fucking lighthouse.
No. I have the reverse complaint.
What?
Where I think if you're doing an like agoraphobic descent into darkness thing, I want to be confused. Like I feel like it should be a labyrinth. But in that movie,
it's not about that being a labyrinth though.
It's not even about like isolation because that movie wasn't about it. It was kind of about them being like, oh, it's heterosexual, but like. There's some latent homosexuality in it, and there's a cute seagull, and
no, it's not a.
There's
cute
a lot
seagull.
of farts that
it's
like make people.
Up.
Dude, that movie was whack.
What do you mean? Because of the farts?
They were making me cringe,
bro. Because of the farts was the realism of it. No. Because I listened to you got to listen to the podcast where the director talks about that. Oh
my god!
Because he was saying that basically, like, bruh, if you're on a fucking island with another dude. for hella long. Y'all finna be farting together. His goal was to make sure that you see every human liquid there is. So you saw blood, nut, fucking piss, all this shit. Did you see shit? I think you saw shit too. Throw up. Remember. Someone vomited. How did you not like that movie? That's a good ass fucking movie.
It's the way it was
fucking
played.
Willem Dafoe and fucking.
They were not profound farts. They were played for comedy.
No, it wasn't played for comedy.
Oh, it was played for fucking comedy.
What do you mean played for comedy? It was a fart. How do you? So please tell me a serious fart.
Here's another thing. If you want to portray realism in every sense of it, wouldn't the movie include a bunch of bathroom breaks too? Like uneventful bathroom breaks?
But it did. It started out with a bathroom break. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't remember it.
They had a bathroom.
Man, I don't like that movie.
They had a toilet in between the bed. And it's a beautiful cinematography.
I don't know.
Gorgeous. Better than fucking Cold Skin.
Okay.
And I didn't even see Cold Skin, but I just saw the.
Well, let's talk about like the choice of black and white. Like whenever I see a black and white film, one, I think of Student, but that's fine because you know what I love is texture in movies, and I always think of Eraserhead, and how like fabric or like the Radiator, like that stuff looks beautiful in black and white. And in the Lighthouse, there were two moments that I thought looked beautiful in black and white. One, when homie was getting buried in the dirt and like it was getting in his beard. I was like, that's a beautiful moment to have in black and white. There was one other one, I can't remember it. I think it might have had something to do with the sequel. See, but that's the thing. It's too cute. It's like, we're Ep284. We have a lamb. We have a seagull. No, we have a bear. It's like they have a damn animal mascot for every movie.
It's okay. Look, as far as the black and white thing, this fucking director wanted to use everything that was a part of that time period. So he wanted to get the actual film stock of that time period, but he wasn't able to get it. So what he did was he used a film stock that was close enough to it, and he used all vintage lenses of that time.
That's a good shot.
And he also
Willem Dafoe, I love him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you not like Willem? Look,
it was too cute,
bruh.
I learned a lot about the art I like from video games and Clark. Now, I was playing Cyberpunk a lot, and I was playing on a 360 when it first came out, which was like
see how you was able
crashed
to
13 times the first week I played it, and I was just doing it. And he came down, he was watching me. Mind you, this boy played Grand Theft Auto every day, all day. He was gambling. He had a dumb cowboy hat on. It was pretty funny. But he came down, he's like, I can never play this game. And I'm like, why? It's fucking Grand Theft Auto. No, and he was like, no, it's too serious. And I was like, what do you... And I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? You're totally right. Like, the humor of Grand Theft Auto is... There's none of it in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that. I like dumb shit that is taken way too seriously. Like the whole concept might be like dumb. And I hate to say it, but a lot of heavy metal's like that, where it's like, like Dio would sing about dragons all the time. Mm-hmm. But when Richie Blackmore was like, hey, we're not singing about fairies anymore. Like, we're going to sing about hot girls and cars. Yeah. And Dio said, okay, I'm going to quit. And it's like, over what? Like fairy tale lyrics? But it's like, but I kind of like that, where it's like you will fall on the sword for the dumb shit that you treat like the most serious adult in the room. Yeah. And that, I think I just wanted a more like deadpan, dry, like kind of punishing application of isolation.
I think it still had that with the, like, I wouldn't get hung up on the farts, because it would be different if they farted like all throughout the whole fucking movie. They literally only farted. And he strategically wanted to put the farts at the beginning of the movie well, he did that to be anti-art, like because he knew people were going to be like, I need to analyze this fart. What does this mean to me? Like, he was making fun of that.
Well, what about the film before that really showcased farting, which was a Swiss Army Man?
Oh, I didn't see that movie.
Okay, watch that and come back to me with your profound farting.
It's trash.
Okay.
It was the same director?
No. Do you remember this?
That
Swiss Army Man?
No, I remember you guys talking about it.
I think I got a one sheet of it. Watch it and love it, and I'll give you the one sheet.
Look, I mean, I don't know. I like what Ep284 is doing, because a lot of the movies that they come out with is interesting to me.
Me too.
And a lot of the shit that it's separate from like the Hollywood like fucking bullshit.
No, and don't get me wrong. I think
it's original storytelling.
I only complain and critique the shit that I really like. And I really like A24. I mean, dude, they just came out with The Green Knight. And if you watch Terrell's fucking Blu-ray Tuesday,
he called movie of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, the Boulay brothers broke it down better. The Boulay brothers talked about the feminine, femininity in that world, and I think it really spoke to him. And they also talked about females and sexuality, so.
You know what I noticed? I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but all these A24 movies have 3, like, categories on IMDb.
Oh, you're in the weeds with this one.
Goodness.
Are you sure it's not just IMDb and they give every movie 3 categories, or
they don't?
It could. Well, you just pulled up the birds and that one. Okay.
No, this one does.
Well, okay. Now talking about taking things too seriously.
Lamb.
With Lamb. You know what? I think that's why I was having issues with it, because it was actually playing kind of like a oh man. What's his name? Bottle Rocket. Rushmore.
What's that?
You don't know Bottle Rocket or Rushmore?
Fuck.
Do you know the Fantastic Mr. Fox?
I've seen the trailer for it.
What the hell is his name?
I would not watch that ever.
Again,
Wes Anderson.
Okay.
Wes Anderson, yeah.
It's after midnight. I can forget who Wes Anderson is.
Yeah.
It felt like that, kind of like whimsical and like it felt like an Icelandic folktale, which I mean was not marketed. That was marketed.
Icelandic folks. You know what? That's interesting. It does feel like that.
Yeah, well,
it does feel like a folktale.
And it's actually interesting because the thing about a folktale is they always have a moral. Like it's always like I mean the whole reason humans tell stories is so we can learn from them.
I think it did have a moral.
But this one, it had a hidden moral.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until the whole thing that I keep alluding to is that the film clearly has a central lead, Maria, who is having a delusion that this lamb is human and is her surrogate child, because while you're watching the film you can come to the conclusion that they probably had a kid that died, or like a miscarriage, or it just didn't work out. And when she had adopted this animal, her husband was like, well, you know what, she's happy. So they just roll with it, and everything seems to be chill. And then kind of out of nowhere, a car is driving down this barren road that seems like no car should be down. And there's a lot of life in the car. They stop. A dude rolls out of it. A girl comes out, throws the phone. She like chucks it way off frame. And then a dude goes out to get it, and then they drive away. And that dude turns out to be the brother of the husband of our pair. Now he walks to the house at night, and you get the vibe that he's like an intruder. And he actually sees a pretty candid moment of Maria murdering the actual mother of the lamb. She shoots it in the head and drags it away. And a couple of the people we saw the movie would swear that was real. Were you one of them?
They thought they really killed
Oksana, I think you were one, right?
I'm one of them, yeah.
No, I think what they did, I don't think they killed the lamb, because I don't think A24 would even like do some shit like that. But I think what they did was they probably used a real dead lamb when she was dragging. I think that was a real dead lamb, because there was a taxidermist. So there was probably like a real dead animal. But
I think all those births in the beginning were definitely real too. So I was like, I mean, who knows? Maybe they really did shoot this poor sheep.
I gotta do some Clark shit because I gotta take a piss hella bad.
Go for it. Some Clark shit? That's what you call it?
Yeah, because he fucking walks off to take a piss.
All right, now why did you think the lamb was real though? Like you thought they actually shot the lamb while filming?
I don't know if they really shot it while filming, but
again, it wasn't a lamb; it was a sheep. It was a full grown.
Yeah, it was the adult sheep. But I guess what I meant was I think that dead sheep was a real dead sheep.
Yeah, it definitely looked authentic.
Like I don't think they did some cannibal Holocaust shit where they actually shot an animal on camera or anything like that.
Yeah, but you never know. When you get the weird foreign films that seem like they're an acquisition and not a production of the company. Actually, did A24 pay for this film to be made? Or did they just buy it up? It doesn't matter. You don't have to look that up. So the brother, he witnesses this act, and he goes into the barn, and he lays on a couch. Now, when the brother meets the rest of the family, there's a striking resemblance between him and his brother. Now, I know that sounds redundant to say that because they're family, but I mean, facially, they almost look like twins. The brother who wandered in his leather jacket has got like maybe 2 inches on the husband.
Yeah, they look alike.
And well, the other thing is he just looks cooler. Like the other guy looks like a domesticated kind of lame dude.
Yeah.
Where this guy's got like a leather jacket. He's got like a salt and pepper beard. He's got a little bit like he's got the like unkempt, combed back hair, but he's pulling it off. Like he's got charisma. And the movie kind of turns into him being like a third wheel. Now, to reference one of my favorite films that showcase a like triangle relationship, The Knife in the Water. Have you ever seen that? It's Polanski's like first film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but
we should watch that.
Yeah.
That was a very formative movie for me, just on like drama dynamics. And in this film, I kept thinking we were going to go there. Mm-hmm. But the relationship with the brother and Maria it was weird. Like it felt like there should have been tension, but then it was like, well, there was eventually. Yeah. Like there's a moment where Maria's taking a bath with a Paddington lamb, and the door's open, and the brother's kind of lingering, looking in at the mirror. Like he can't see anything, but he's like he shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, he's looking in.
So later on, he comes up to her and he's like, "Hey, I saw you taking a bath," and she's just like, "What?" And he's like, "You left the door open." He's like, "You wanted me to see, huh?"
Well, the thing too, the brother, like her husband, saw him looking in that direction too. So like,
yeah.
Well, now you weren't here when I was speaking to Jahsaudi outside, but there's a passing conversation in Lamb about time, and he's like, "Oh, did you hear? Like, they're saying they've invented a time machine," and Maria's reaction is, "Oh, well, that probably means you could go back in time too," because he's talking about, do you think anybody's time traveled like forward? And she instantly goes to the past, which is kind of like, okay, well, she's living in the past.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where with him, he's like, it doesn't really mean anything to me. I live now. Like I'm so happy with my life right now. Like I'm very present in the moment. Mm-hmm. And that felt so, it felt like he really wanted to believe that. And then when I started thinking about it, there were all these moments that him and his brother had. Like when his brother shows up for dinner the first time, they add another chair.
Yeah.
And he's like, were you all expecting company? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, not quite. And then like the little lamb walks out there and sits down, and he's just like, what the hell is this?
I love the brother. The brother's reaction was like the audience's reaction. Like it was like we're seeing something from like our part of view, because he's the only one that's like looking like what the fuck? Like do y'all see what's going on right now? Like because before then we're just stuck with these two characters who are just looking at this shit like it's just a normal thing. Like you're just gonna have a lamb, fucking half lamb.
The thing is nobody talks about the elephant in the room.
No,
nobody even mentions like why is that thing half human?
Yeah.
Like I think by this point the lamb had like one human hand and one hoof.
Yeah.
And it's like it was actually pretty interesting. It wasn't just like a lamb head. Like it was actually like a hybrid body. And he's just like, what the hell? And then they're kind of like, what? And then I don't know, he's kind of like, okay. Except he's got conflict with the thing the whole time. Yeah. At one point it actually looks like he's going to take it out and kill it.
Yeah.
Because he puts the gun to its head and everything, and he just can't do it. Mm-hmm. And when I was talking to Jahsaudi, I'm like, you know what? I don't think the brother was really ever there. It seems like the brother represented the past and future that like never was or could been for the husband. And that's why he was like a cooler version. Like in the film, they discover a drum set in the barn.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's your brother's. And he's like playing it, and the lamb's like hanging out and like enjoying it. And they find a music video. Like the wife has a VHS tape of like his band's music video, and they all dance to it and have fun. And just the way that they were interacting, like they share a kiss, her and the brother. And she reacts not happy about it. She actually like pushes him down into the basement and locks him in there.
Yeah.
Or he stays there for the night. And I'm thinking, you know, it would make sense if that's her husband and they've just had a loveless relationship. But now that the lamb's back, he's starting to like, he's like easing into it. He's still conflicted because that brother character didn't like the lamb. But it was kind of growing on him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but too, like the one sex scene that we do get with the wife and the husband was after that. So it's like, because before in the beginning when there was no baby lamb,
now, but the sex scene, it's important. What happens there?
Oh well, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. But
okay.
But like as far as like a loveless marriage, because their relationship was pretty separated. Like they did not look like a happy couple. Like she was out doing it, like they would alternate going out doing work, and it was like, you know how like certain couples will talk about like, oh, we're like ships passing in the like that's how they were. Like at one point, remember, he like fell asleep on a chair listening to music. Like they would never like sleep together in the same bed in a romantic way. You never saw them kiss, hold hands.
Well, they did sleep together in the same bed.
No, yeah, they did. But I'm saying, even though they were physically together, they didn't
exactly.
They never held each other. They slept on opposite ends.
Well, and when the brother showed up, he was like pointedly sleeping in different locations.
Yeah,
and I think, you know, when he's in the barn sleeping on the couch when we first meet him.
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to say that, well, that was really the husband. And he did see her kill that sheep. And it's like the film isn't just about her going through a delusion. It's him, too. They're both living in different realities on a farm. Which is, it's kind of, it really opens up that movie in a very interesting way. I don't know if I'd really go watch it again.
What did you say about the sex scene? Because he's giving her some fellatio.
It's just oral.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because, you know, if you combine the husband into the brother, that moment where he's like, hey, you were taking a bath and you left the door open. Like, was that for, like, it changes completely when it's not the brother who just showed up the night before and it's her husband. It's actually a lot more sad.
Damn.
When he's like, hey, like, are you coming around?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, no. And then, you know, they get drunk one night and make out and she locks them in the basement.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, they do have like an interaction later on and it's just him giving her oral. Like, I think there's still a like disconnect there. Like, she does not want to be intimate. Like,
yeah, at all. I mean, yeah, most of the film she didn't feel like she wants to be intimate. But like you said before, if we're going off of like them losing a kid, because they allude to it, she even says that like the lamb kid is a new beginning. So anytime someone says a new beginning, then that means it's, you know, it's something separate from something tragic that happened before. So I didn't even think about that. Like, you know, it's funny, like it is weirdly gonna make me remind me of like Scream.
oh, I thought you were about to cry.
Nah.
Okay.
In Scream.
Well, okay, so you watched Scream, what?
Yeah,
2 days ago? Oh, last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
Was it the first time? Or
no, it was the first time in like 20 fucking years.
Okay.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Scream since like 2000, 2001, like early on. Like,
okay. It was the 25th anniversary. So, yeah.
So I haven't watched it it was my first time watching it as an adult. Because last time
what'd you
I seen it
think?
was a kid.
Well, now that you're into film and
exactly.
your cinematography, like,
I thought the cinematography was amazing in that movie. Me and my other homie who's more of like a cinematographer, we're both like, we nerd out on lenses and we're both like trying to figure out what lenses they used and just the flaring on certain parts of like the lenses, and just some of the shots, it was like really amazing. But also just like I noticed that like the acting is really good because if those same lines were said by anybody else, this could have easily just been like, I mean, it was a lot of comedy in the movie. Right?
Yeah.
But it could have been seen as cheesy on some of the shit. Like, so when you first had like Sydney and what's her boyfriend's name?
Turn that mic towards you, Billy.
So when you
There
first
you go.
seen like Sydney, like, well, when Billy goes up into her room and he's talking about how like, oh, yeah, I saw, you know, the Exorcist movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, oh, you want to just like, we can't.
Every time I think it's Scary Movie there.
Yeah, I think it's a scary movie all the time. I mean, that shit primed me. But it was just like, bro, this is like so lame. He's like, you want to dry, like he literally says you want to dry hump like with the clothes on.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But
Dude, it was the 90s, man.
The fucking 90s. But no, I was trying to connect it to Scary Movie because fuck.
Well, Scary Movie, the thing I always think about is the bad joke about like the Coke. He's like, remember, cut it with baking soda, not. He's like, you don't want muffins. And honestly, I don't even remember that whole thing. But the what I loved was when he's leaving, and she's like, well, would you settle? How about we settle for PG-13? And she flashes
shows the titty.
But in Scary Movie, it's like it's a dude's chest.
Yeah,
and
that's
man, I just love it. It's such a like. That's low-hanging fruit. But man, every time I think about it, it's one of those movies that was such a cultural touchstone that the parody that came after it kind of like supersedes it. Like, like it's real easy to confabulate those movies.
Yeah. Fucking, oh my God, I'm trying to figure out why I made that connection with Lamb.
With Scream?
Oh, yeah, because, I found it out. So, basically, Sydney, like, because the death of her mom, you know, she didn't want to, like, have sex, like, with her boyfriend. Like, she talks about that.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, in Lamb, like, this woman, like, she doesn't want to have sex, and, you know, it alludes to that they had, like, a death of a child. So, it's just, like, thinking about that, like, she's non-sexual at all, like, in most of the movie. Like, even during that sex scene, it was just, like, it wasn't really, like, sexual. It was almost like a sign of relief.
In which?
Her.
In Lamb?
Yeah, in Lamb.
Yeah.
Like in that sex scene, it was just like a sign of like relief. Like it was just like I got a good life. I have this kid. Like it's like I have this replacement.
Well, it's kind of like overcoming trauma or whatever whatever in the past has like locked you up. Like it's definitely an empowerment thing, and I think so even in Scream, which I mean,
because even after that like sex scene, but then
with the villain.
Yeah,
it's I love Scream. I know a lot of people don't like it, especially now. And rewatching it, I don't know. I like
some of this shit is kind of cheesy though.
Well,
like the humor.
That's kind of the problem when you have a film that's so big and it changes the genre. Slasher films after like post Scream. They're all different. They all moved away from supernatural, and it all became like a weird blend of like giallo and like 80s slasher, where you have a high kill count, you have a masked character, but it's also like it's somebody like it's somebody in this room. It's almost like Clue or like.
So you think because Scream wasn't supernatural.
No, it wasn't an undead dude, or like in the franchise, nobody ever came back. It was never a ghost.
So that was like the strange issue that I was having with so basically so during at the start of Halloween I wanted to watch some horror movies that I haven't seen in a while, so I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And the issue with that was they were trying to play both sides. They were trying to do the Scream thing where it's like it's this realistic killer, but then at the same time they were doing like supernatural things and they never explained it. Like what? So like the scene where like she the main girl opens the trunk and sees like this dead body, which we find
Jennifer
out
Love Hewitt,
that we find out this person really died and the
it's
body's
full with crabs and everything,
And then she closes it and then the friends come and then she's like, no, like it's right here. They open it up and
it's like clean.
And
it's one of those things where it's like clearly some shit's going on, and I mean she'd have to be delusional because how is one dude? Have you ever watched Behind the Mask?
No.
Watch that movie because that's a faux documentary of a camera crew who's following a slasher. But the thing is, it's a dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he kind of runs through how he sets that shit up. And he's like, now you, like, one of the first things he does is he picks a girl that he thinks has final girl material. And he talks about how important it is that you have to find her first, because you have to start early, like cluing her in. Because one of the things about a final girl is they're very precocious. And in that film, they're talking about, like, they kind of make it seem like he tipped her off to give her like a head start thinking about it. So he goes to her work and he like rigs the door to shut. And he'll appear, like he shows up and he's like, she's got to look at me very briefly. And then the door will shut. And when she turns, I have to disappear. Like he's like calculating everything. Yeah. So unless somebody's doing that with a dead body and a trunk full of crabs, I totally agree with you. But at the end of the day, it's a dude. You know what I mean? It's not anybody undead. It's not a ghost. It's not a...
But it does. It still doesn't explain like
no, for
that.
Sure.
Like it's just weird. You know, I mean, and I get. I mean, that maybe it's like nitpicking.
Well, it's a trope.
But
it's a trope of
they lean
slashers.
into it heavy on the second one too. Like it's just like literally like a dead body, blood, everything spilled on the floor, or it's like blood on carpet. Really, you clean that up in 5 seconds.
Yeah. It kind of scenery manipulation is definitely the magic of the post-Scream slasher.
But it's like when Scream does something like, you know, it's just like. They kind of make an excuse for it because during it, which is kind of says how fucked up the town is, because you'll see a shot where like they're at like the store grabbing stuff before like the lockdown happens, and it'll be like this. They're moving past like a package of chips, and then you just stay on the chips, and then you see like a reflection of Scream, and he just like moves away. They do that a lot, right?
You know what's funny? I actually forgot how many times Ghostface is like in the background.
Yeah,
and you know, to tie that back to the birds, I feel like that's a very like Wes Craven. Wasn't a very visual director. Like John Carpenter, he makes a fucking like movie. Yeah. Like you watch him, he's a fucking filmmaker. Wes Craven, I think, is just he's an idea dude. He was a professor before, and I think he had great ideas. And the execution is always like a little wonky. Yeah. And I know he must have been a fan of Hitchcock, who in The Birds, when you watch The Birds, there's hella shots of birds just like chilling on a telephone pole. Yeah. And I remember reading an interview with Hitchcock where he's like, I had to let people know that I was aware the movie's called The Birds and that they're coming. So every time I see that shit, I just think, okay, he's cueing in the teen audience that they're targeting. Yeah. Don't worry, he's there. Yeah. Like, because I think there's a reflection, like you said, at like a 7-Eleven in a door. In a door, yeah. At one time, they're out on a patio, and there's like a zoom.
Yeah, bro, that zoom in. I'm like, bro,
I love that zoom. I love a busy camera in horror film. Like Italian films did that a lot, where you have like a crazy pan, or like it'll just be like the cameraman will flip a 180, and then it will like zoom in deep into a park, and then kind of out of frame something will happen. I love that shit. I don't know why.
I wonder how that held like in theaters back then, because like me and my homie, we watched it, we just laughed on that scene. It's almost like Spike Lee in a lot of his movies, he'll have like the scene where like the main character will be like floating on. He did it in like Inside Man. He did it in a bunch of his movies, but in like Malcolm X, he does it where it's like in a pivotal moment in the main character's like life. He like he puts them on a dolly, but they're like floating through the whole scene.
No, totally. I got you.
And so
I love that shit.
Yeah,
I wish they did it. The new Candyman used that, and I like floating characters.
Yeah, no, I like it too. But apparently, my homie was telling me that like in screenings for his, I forgot which movie where he did, because he doesn't like all of his movies.
That people laughed.
Yeah, people laughed at it. Yeah, it's like
anything new. I mean, it's kind of the reaction I had with Malignant. Did you ever watch that?
I still need to watch it. I only watched half.
When you watch it, okay. So you watched like the half.
I'm literally up until after, like I'm probably like 20 minutes in. Probably.
Okay, well, I mean, it's like an hour 40 movie. Actually, it might be even a little bit longer. But in the beginning of that film, the language and the choices are so weird.
It's
that
hella weird.
You have a reaction where you're like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, me too.
And
I thought it was so bad that I thought I got the wrong movie.
I know. And it's one of those things where it's like, James Wan, he's earned like respect. And when I was in the theater, I was like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, it's James Wan, though. It's got to be calculated.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be. And by the end of it, I'll tell you, it pays off and it works. But
Okay.
But yeah, when you're doing a new technique like that, I just think when audiences aren't familiar with it, or they don't have like the language, the initial thing is just going to be bad. And honestly, I think that plays into found footage a lot, where people like when they're not used to it or they don't watch enough of it, then people get caught up on the like, oh, clearly this is fake.
Yeah.
And it's like the movie ain't trying to trick you. You gotta get on the ride. Like join the movie here and then it'll pay off. But if you come in there and you're like, fake. Like the only film that I think actually kind of took that approach from the audience and turned it into a positive was Butterfly Kisses. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I remember watching that. That's like it sends you through like a rabbit hole of like document, because that was one that was like a faux doc, but then it was like,
but it's very self-aware, and like the first act, they're talking about found footage. Like I've never heard in a found footage movie somebody call it found footage. Like they're literally talking about the film that they're making, but also in the idea that like, was anybody going to believe this shit? Like I don't know, the conversation there, they really like. We went and we watched it with a bunch of people who reviewed for the Overlook, and a lot of them, they like to come in early and just be like, okay, here's why I don't like the movie already. And I felt like that film just beat them to it. Like anything you could have critiqued, they were doing it on camera in a constructive way. Like it didn't feel like cliched or like weak
or just too meta.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we got so far away from Lamb. How you feeling? You awake over there?
Yeah, I'm awake.
All right, you ready to move into the next thing? I mean, we could close the book on Lamb. Clearly there's a conversation to be had, and I'm glad you were here, Clark. His eyes would have rolled into the back of his head in 5 minutes, and
I mean, honestly, I wasn't going in. I didn't go into Lamb thinking it was a horror movie, and I actually enjoyed the conversation that like we had about it, and I think that was like the beneficial part of Lamb, because
it's the best part of movies, man.
Well,
like breaking them down,
movies in general.
Yeah.
But I just think like that. I mean, I guess I don't want to spoil like the ending, but I don't know why that ending scene was just so powerful to me.
After we talked about it or before?
Even before, like just watching it, watching it go down and it happened. And it's
it's very emotional.
There's nothing you can do.
Without saying anything, one of the realities comes crashing down.
Yeah.
One of the faux realities comes crashing down. And I mean, as long as you are empathetic, even if somebody's delusional, when that comes to an end for them, you can still like, oh man, you can still feel sad. Like even though the reality's fake, the feelings are real. And I mean, the ending's good, and it sticks. Like my theory sticks up. It holds up at the end.
The ending just makes me think that like,
just look at what happens to both the males in that movie. But anyway, like
I don't want to say too much, but yeah, it really to me, I don't know. It's a very like woman film, not in like in a feminist way, but like in a way of like, dare I say it? Like,
just say it. What are you talking about?
Like it's not, like to me, I just thought about what's it called? Like a miscarriage.
Yeah. Have you ever watched
reliving a miscarriage?
Have you ever seen Repulsion?
Nah.
Okay, that's another Polanski film. We should watch that.
I need to get on because I watched Tenant and I watched not Tenant. Well,
make a mental note, Oksana. We have to watch Repulsion because we're already talking about black and white, and like that's a beautiful black and white film. Also, there's an homage in New Nightmare.
Yeah, the Tenant. Yeah.
The Tenant, that's part of the Apartment trilogy.
Yeah, the Apartment. I like.
Yeah,
the Tenant.
and Cul-de-sac is the other one.
His films just make me feel so uncomfortable in a
Yeah,
good way.
well, I mean, he's a fucking uncomfortable dude.
Yeah, I mean, too bad he fucking touched those.
Well,
women.
I mean, again, the Nazis, like literally, like Nazi soldiers,
Yeah.
shot at his feet and made him dance.
Yeah.
His parents, died in a concentration camp. The man's been through a lot. Manson, had a couple buddies murder his pregnant wife.
Was I talking to you about that?
I don't think so.
Because I don't know if it was like you or like Josh, but like, I'm like, bro, this dude went through a whole lot of shit. Not to excuse, I mean, I get it.
You're like, nah, I mean, give him a 12-year-old. It's fine.
But I mean, shit, like, it's like, bro,
hey,
I don't know.
you know what? I stand by the fact. I mean, it's clearly a fact that damaged people make great art.
Yeah.
It's just articulating stuff that has been lost. Like, it comes out in the art, and it's always so interesting. And I think, when you enjoy a film made by like a not particularly good person, you're not celebrating the bad things they've done.
Nah.
Yeah, it's so hard for people, and especially in a collaborative medium like film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna watch Jeepers Creepers. I own Clown House, and I know if you collect DVDs, you're jealous right now because that thing's worth some money.
But it's interesting, like you said, like it's a collaborative process. It's not like music. Well, I mean, music is a collaborative process too. My bad, but it is. So it's like one person, maybe not even a director. One person could be on there doing some crazy shit. The lighting person could be a fucking pedophile. And so what? You're not gonna watch the movie because it's one lighting person, but it's still very important to the film.
Well, it's funny too because a lot of that is always behind the camera. So you're like, well, the work done in front of the camera, like. You're not going to watch that performance because what somebody else did?
Yeah.
And I've made that argument with people before. I was like, well, okay, so you won't watch a movie if the director's bad. It's like, well, what about the writer?
Yeah.
And they're always kind of like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, well, okay, what about the boom guy?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We
but their
keep
job
walking.
is still extremely
What if one of the
important.
stuntmen like roofied a girl?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, are you out? I don't. Those conversations never yield anything.
Nah.
You're never gonna change anybody's mind with that. And ultimately, when you're dealing with the dude like the Jeepers Creepers director, that you got to make peace with our justice system because that dude went to jail for it and like.
That's my thing. Like, if you went to jail, you already served your time. There's not much I can do because I'm not bigger than the judge that fucking sentenced your ass. Now, if you still doing some fucked up shit, then that's different. But like, yeah, like you did because I mean, just like they still tried to get at Mike Vick. Like literally after he did his time and he went to go back to playing football, there are still people trying to protest his games, and it's like, this dude served his time already.
I know it's
like,
tough.
It's interesting. Did you want to go into
the
movie of the night?
I don't know. I'm kind of I'm kind of intrigued by speaking about redemption now. And if anybody can no, honestly, I'm stalling now because I wanted to do a there's an intro to the segment that we were going to queue up, except now we've been talking for so long that that computer decided to restart.
It's updating too?
Yeah, dude. Right now, it literally just started.
That's what I hate about Windows.
It's like
it forces an update on you.
It's like you're literally in league with this damn computer.
The real bullshit is that I restarted that thing like 3 days ago to avoid anything like this, and it didn't work.
No, see, that's the thing. At least Apple computers, they'll ask you like, "Hey, do you want to update? Hey, do you want to update?" Fucking Windows, like, "Nah, bitch, we updating right now."
Doesn't Apple just update in the middle of the night when you can't do anything about it?
On the phones?
Yeah.
If you set it up that way.
No.
I mean, I don't know. The technology is fucking weird. Maybe we should just destroy our computers and go back to fucking living how we used to.
Well, do you want to
intro? Oh, because it's supposed to be TBR report. Oh, no, not TBR report.
Oh, my God. Can you not ruin everything?
Oh, I mean...
No, don't say... I'm going to cut your damn mic.
My bad.
He loves to throw that thread at everybody.
I know. Because I have the power. If you're going to make me wear 3 hats every time we record, I get to like show one of them off.
I didn't make you.
I know. That wasn't directed at you.
Is there a new Jeepers Creepers coming out?
No. Dude, but when 3 came out, people were boycotting it.
Yeah, they protested the screenings.
Was 3 good?
So Victor Salva,
He's a pedophile. Oh, we don't got the soundboard.
You only want it when we can't have it. Now, the thing with him, on the set of Clown House, he diddled a boy. It might have been more like a lamb relationship, but I'm not sure. And
lamb relationship.
Yeah, that was a callback to our conversation earlier about the one sexual encounter that happened. You already forgot?
No, the lamb relationship.
Oh my God.
Oksana can fill him in later.
The one.
Yeah, no. So, do you really? I was alluding to the fact that it might have just been an oral encounter.
Oh, you could have just said he ate some pussy.
Oh my! Except that didn't happen. My God.
Oh, that is
yes.
not,
It was an older man and a
okay.
younger. It was a small child. Anyway, he went to jail. He was convicted, and then he came out and made Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2.
Damn,
And they went, and people liked him. And Rob Zombie had a song that would have been perfect for that movie, and they didn't use it. They missed that opportunity. And it's very rare that I say Rob Zombie had a perfect song. He had a song with a lyric that said "Meet the Creeper," which, that's what they called the slasher in that movie. Anyway, when Jeepers Creepers 3 came out, though, people came out of the woodworks for that one, boycotting it, protesting it all over. It was just strange because you could tell it was like a post-Me Too era where
was it post Me Too? That's 2017.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jeepers Creepers 3. Go Jeepers Creepers
but like
4.
Post?
Was it 4?
No,
Jeepers Creepers Reborn, the 4th installment in the long-running horror franchise, has sold worldwide distribution to screen. Okay, so they are making another one.
Yeah, when I was looking up the third one, that was one of the results that they suggested.
Well, I mean, who knows? This is about as trustworthy as going into IMDb and looking at all the production credits people have.
Oh yeah,
it's like that shit is always based on rumors or whatever. Can you look at when part 3 came out?
2017.
Okay, so yeah, right.
That's some post. That was when it was.
Well, it was like in the era, yeah. So I mean, post. It was. Well, I mean, okay, post the literal date. I don't know.
It was when it was hot.
Well, why are you an expert on Me Too? You're trying to you're deleting tweets. You're like, I gotta go back. I gotta make my shit clean.
It's just an interesting situation. Like I was listening to the podcast, Joe Rogan and fucking Quentin Tarantino when they're talking about Weinstein. And it was just interesting because I know people are like, oh, fucking Tarantino should have said something. He probably knew, and it's like he probably not around him like that. Like he just doesn't. But no. I mean, I'm saying in a sense of doing what he does. Maybe he knew. I don't know. But a lot of times, there's people that I know that does some shit that I don't necessarily agree with, and it's some illegal shit that I don't necessarily.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna stay out of it. I'm gonna do my own thing because it's not my job to sit up here and play fucking crusader and try to stop everything because it's a fucking grown ass man, and that dude is old enough to probably be his dad. So it's
here's the other thing.
I just don't think that him not saying anything about
hold on.
Makes
now, if you're a dude, say I'm a producer, right, and you're working on a film, and the lead actress, it's like, oh, you can tell some weird shit's going on. Here's the thing, a lot of women, they can make a choice too. There's a lot of power in feminine sexuality. Yeah. And I mean, you'd be a fool to not think if a girl was going to use that to jumpstart her career, who are you to take that away from her? That's a choice she can make. So I don't know. The thing is, industry, in any form of company, it could be a police station, it could be a production studio. It's one of those things where it's somebody fucked up and this can make us all look bad. Yeah. And they always do the same fucking thing. Even the church, it's well, we got to hide it. And then I think once you start doing that, you head down this road where it's well, he did it once and he got away with it. And now you've kind of let everybody know, hey, we're going to protect our own. And then when you get called on it, you're so rotten from the inside that it's you think about it and it's I'm not a huge fan of government regulation because I don't think it really works well. No. I almost think people careers have to be on a timer where it's like, hey, it's been 10 years. We have to have a new guard. Like, we got to swap everybody out. Like, we can't have the same head anymore because all of the problems that came prior and that haven't been settled when they're gone, I feel like it just carries on. And I think in politics is rampant with that shit too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
I would say worse than the film and music industry.
actually, to bring that back to Scream, Rose McGowan was very vocal about that. I think she actually came out saying the Me Too thing became kind of like cannibalistic too, and it needed like more nuance because people were getting like, I mean, dude, like look at Louis C.K. or like Aziz Ansari.
Yeah,
like those guys were just like those things wouldn't have been nothing if it would have just happened a little bit earlier or later.
I mean, the Aziz Ansari thing I know more about. And it's just like that was pretty fucked up.
Were you there?
What happened to him? Yeah, I was there too.
You're like, I hooked him up.
Yeah, that's the homie. Nah, but like,
all right. Our stalling. I think we got enough time. Oksana, you good? You still awake?
Nope.
I mean, it's a fair question. It is now 1 a.m. I'm not sure how much of this we're gonna leave in. And honestly, we're not gonna cut anything on here. Yeah, I'll throw it out there to Randy. Randy will probably listen to this whole thing and be like, "I hate it." Honestly, I love it though. Just sitting here and having like a free form conversation. Yeah. It's not the well crafted radio show we normally do, but it's definitely podcasting. And
I'm doing it.
With that, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's my favorite stinger that you've probably never heard before, Jahsaudi, for everybody's new segment, their new favorite segment, Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
I don't think he's into that stinger.
What the fuck is that?
I don't think anybody is. I found a video on YouTube of these two very cute girls doing the Bloody Mary urban legend. And I don't know why that music is there.
That is hella creepy.
I'll tell you why the music's there. Randy played it. Dude, he's a musician.
Randy is really good.
He's a wizard, dude.
I want my next film. I want him to do the score.
Oh, Randy, you hear that?
Randy, you heard it. Like we talked about this before. So
you and Randy did?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He showed me some stuff.
You gonna have him writing beats for your urban odyssey?
Yeah.
I got that clip of you on this soundboard too.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we should hand this over to Oksana because this is her favorite segment where we're going to cover 32 Bloody Mary movies by the end of October.
Yeah, we are 1/10 of the way there. Not even, no.
I think we've seen 2 now.
I'm about to say you are really good at fractions.
I know.
I don't know how
It should have
that
been
works.
higher, like 1/30th or something. Because there are way more Bloody Mary movies than I think any of us anticipated. But for this week,
I like how you have so many tabs
my
open. You can
tabs look like your tabs right now. There's like 80 of them. We watched a movie that I guess we had watched about 5 years ago, according to Terrell. Urban Legends, Bloody Mary. On a prom night dare, a trio of high school friends chant an incantation, unleashing an evil spirit from the past with deadly consequences.
That did not explain.
I guess that happened.
I don't think that's at all accurate. They talk about the ritual that you have to like go into the bathroom, turn the lights off, and then say Bloody Mary 3 times. They don't do any of those things. I mean, they do say it 3 times, but they're just like they're having like a slumber party and they're on the floor, and then one girl just says it, and they'll giggle for too long in between each one.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this movie was directed by Mary Lambert, who also did Pet Sematary 1 and 2.
2 being your favorite movie that introduced you to your long-term crush, Eddie Furlong.
I saw 2 years before I saw 1.
Do you know Eddie Furlong?
No.
He's the kid from Terminator 2.
Show a picture. I think I know you're talking about.
Yeah, have you ever seen Terminator 2?
Yeah, I saw Terminator 2. That's the one with the fucking liquid man.
Oh my god. You don't watch
Capri Sun.
Hitchcock?
No. When I used to watch it, I used to thought about the Capri Sun commercial.
Gross.
Oh,
shit.
I'm a mess now.
God, you look like dog shit.
See, there's...
Why didn't you do
God damn.
He was a kid in T2. He was in like
Yeah.
American History X.
Yeah, I know him now. Nah,
He's got a
Terminator 2
Christmas album that Oksana actually owns.
It's not a Christmas
now?
album. There's a Christmas song on it.
That's right.
He does heavy drugs.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, he dated like Paris Hilton, and I think they did a bunch of coke together. I didn't know he had a child. Who knows when the last time he saw that kid?
Oh
Damn.
god! Actually, he was in the remake, I think, of Night of the Demons, and he plays a drug dealer in it. And dude, the casting couldn't have been more true.
He could have played the drug user.
It was perfect.
No, but Terminator. You remember those old Capri Sun commercials, right?
Vaguely.
They turn into fucking the guy.
T-1000.
Yeah, because they go all silver and then they like go surfing. I don't know.
They turn into Alex Mack.
Yeah.
None of y'all had Nickelodeon. I don't know what's wrong
Alex
with you.
Mack. I did have Nickelodeon. I just don't remember all the fucking names. I just remember all that. I remember fucking
Cousin Skeeter.
Cousin Skeeter. Oh my god, Cousin Skeeter was a classic. Cousin Skeeter is that show.
Hey Arnold.
Fucking Hey Arnold is a classic. I always wanted this room.
Do you remember Gullah Gullah Island?
Bruh, Gullah Gullah Island was crazy. Yeah, I saw that.
Love that show.
Fucking remember the bear?
The bear.
It was like the baby Nick one. It was like a little bear. He was a little
I don't know
bitch.
what the fuck he's talking about.
It was a bear. It was a bear. It's called not Brother Bear because that was a movie. It was like a little bear.
There's too many bears. There's Winnie the Pooh.
They made too many
There's
bear
Rupert.
movies.
There's Paddington Bear.
Bruh, like kids don't like bears like that, bruh. I didn't.
I think
into
it's
bears
all
like
just, it comes out of the teddy bear.
Really? Did you have a teddy bear when you was a kid?
Had Teddy Rupskin.
I don't know. That's
That's the one that
I know.
talked.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's before my time.
Oh yeah, my mom's very proud of that.
That's 80s kid shit. I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah,
I had fucking Gumby.
I had Gumby too.
Oh, that's
Gumby's
old.
older than What the hell?
It is. I don't know why I said
I
that.
don't.
I grew up old. I might as well have been in the 80s because all my clothes was old as fuck. Like 80s. I had old hand-me-down toys. Fuck.
All right. Well, Bloody Mary.
So we open up Bloody Mary with fucking a stupid ass 50s high school.
Actually, it was 1969.
Oh, it's 19. Ooh, hey.
I know.
Yeah.
Why were they dancing to 50s music then?
I kept thinking it was 50s too. It looked very like oh fuck, what was that movie that's like the Warriors, The Wanderers? Have either of you ever seen that?
No.
Pull up The Wanderers. There's no better way to describe it than like a 50s The Warriors.
Yeah.
Where there's like different gangs. Dude, that movie's a trip.
Yeah, their
Not from
hairstyles
79?
fit that.
Wait, what?
That's from 79, bro. You can your
67?
decades. mixed
No,
up.
it's not. When the movie wasn't actually made in the era. It's a period film.
Oh, about the 50s?
Okay, you know
That's in the 1890s. Damn, she went too far back.
They didn't have movies in the 1890s.
No, it was
so-
based in the 1890s. It's called a period piece. I don't know if you heard of it before.
Oh my god. Dude, it's an old film.
Yeah, see, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It does look like the Warriors.
Yeah. Warriors, come out and play.
All right.
I love that movie. And the game was good.
I don't.
They had a PS2 game.
Could you even call this a Bloody Mary movie? I mean,
Well, I mean,
Yes.
you are the expert now. So what would it take to be called a Bloody Mary by you?
Yeah.
Do they need to have the
there
drink?
was a dead girl named Mary.
Honestly, I think if you were going to define a subgenre, it's really important that they do the ritual, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I think if you say Bloody Mary, honestly, no. I guess it would have to be paranormal too, like spiritual. Like there has to be some element of like a ghostly haunting or a curse. Like if they said Bloody Mary and then it turned out Jason was just killing them, I don't think that would count.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So this one is like 3/4 of the way there. I don't think the ritual, like they said the rules before it, but then they didn't follow 2 out of 3 rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did
Well-
still conjure up a scary ghost girl who did like she popped up on your screen and she actually looked pretty creepy in some of these scenes.
It will.
That was clearly a green
I think
screen.
when you're referring to the first time she pops up, it reminds me of that like internet meme.
Yeah,
where the
like-
car's
Yeah.
driving on the road and you're supposed to tell your friend like, look really carefully.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that. Like it's just like, look, and it's like, okay, what the fuck?
Well, not yeah. I mean that one. It also did the like loud noise to surprise you thing, but I mean when she's actually menacing the main character like later on in the movie, like when she pops out of her closet and stuff.
Wait. Okay. So we're looking at the screenshots. So when they're in the 50s, I guess it's supposed to be the origin of fucking Bloody Mary.
Yes, that is when
whatever.
the girl Mary dies.
They're chilling in the hallway smoking fucking cigarettes. I don't know what high school y'all went to. Like, are we in the hood? Like, what high school is going to let you smoke cigarettes in the hallway?
Here, let's rethink it now that we've seen the whole film. Who's smoking?
Oh,
And what are they smoking?
what are they? Yeah, exactly. Could be that.
I mean,
chronic.
she is your favorite character.
I love her. She is.
She's
on
got
point.
like a little Grace Jones thing going on,
Yeah.
and when it's revealed that her name is Grace,
Yeah,
it's not very shocking.
it's not.
She, do you want to set the movie up? I feel like we keep cutting you off.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Okay, well, so the film opens up with a girl named Mary. Okay, so the football team roofies a bunch of girls at prom.
Yep.
They're dragging them to the car to do God knows what. I mean, we can assume. But one of the girls didn't drink her drink. So she's sober. And she goes, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, come on. And so she runs away. She does the thing that they complain about and Scream. And instead of going out the front door or to the room with all the people, she runs downstairs into the boiler room.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. She ends up dead. They tuck her away. And, life goes on. Well, when we have that slumber party, in the, early 2000s? This film came out right around, you can tell. You can feel it in the DNA. Right after, like, Ju-on and Ringu had been brought over here. And The Grudge and The Ring were big.
No, actually, it's because didn't The Grudge come out in 06?
No, I'm pretty sure...
Because that movie is 05, right?
even on the back of the DVD, they make a reference to
They do.
to The Ring.
Tripping. They do.
It's all around there.
Yeah.
And so we have our girls partying. Who's that actress that all of us knew immediately, but none of us knew her name?
She was in House of Cards. I forgot her name.
She plays Samantha. Her name's Kate Mara.
Mara, yeah.
Kate Mara. She's American Horror Story. And you kept saying she was House of Cards.
In House of Cards, yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. She
Okay,
was the
I've
one
never seen that. Okay, so
Kevin Spacey was like fingering, but she was not a boy.
okay. So they have a sexy slumber party that ends in a pillow fight, and then while they're all laying there tired, she jokingly says Bloody Mary 3 times. Now, there's a moment that I wanted to pull out of here for an audio clip where they're talking about urban legends,
Yeah.
and they kind of talk about the whole movie.
Yeah,
They
pretty
mention
much.
everything that's coming up, but it keeps in theme with the franchise where all the kills are played out like an urban legend. In this one, they're all like disconnected. Like when people die, it's really weird because we're doing Bloody Mary, but Bloody Mary doesn't physically she's a ghost. She doesn't appear on screen and murder people. It's
You don't
just
see her
Yeah,
until
she
like
doesn't-
later. Well, no, for one of them she does.
She shows up, but she doesn't kill anyone, does she?
well,
Yeah,
okay. So
for the one person.
one of the fucking best kills I've ever seen in a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
Has one of our characters get bit by one of the most CG looking spiders in all history, and
That spider didn't look good, but the result, like, it still was like gross.
well, it rivaled Veronica in like how like aggressively CG this thing looked, and yet spiders are so alien that it was creepy. Well, the next day she's hanging out in a mirror looking at herself, and she's got like a pimple on her cheek. Instantly, I'm thinking scary stories to tell in the dark. Did you ever read that,
Yeah.
Oksana? I know we own it. I don't know if you ever
Yeah,
read it.
I don't think I read that one.
So, it's like, that she's got spider eggs in her cheek. Well, She claws at it a little bit, and it opens up, and a full-grown spider crawls out of it. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They did like a little take. I don't understand why. Like, she's not gonna die from that. So she's kind of like freaking out and like, oh, that CG spider crawled out of me. And then a shitload of them do. And they're not babies. They're all full grown.
Yep.
And they use some weird like CG effect to make her face look wobbly, like there's wave of spiders coming out. And then she starts flailing. And even though it looks like it looks akin to like the ants in the Green Inferno, like it looks worse than those ants. And
They're never ending. It's just like it's instead of blood, it's just.
But it looked good. I don't, and then she's flailing, and she ends up.
Sold it really well too.
Yeah.
Well, she bashes her head against the mirror. It breaks, and there's blood everywhere. And we're all kind of like, oh, okay, this is getting a little crazy. And then the camera frames up with her face, and she has 2 shards of glass. I don't know how they got there, but they're like if you were going to have devil horns on your head. Imagine if those were shards of glass that, like in a horror movie, you would stab somebody with, like an improv knife.
Yeah.
And they were deep under her skin, and she starts flailing like it looks like a Hellraiser death.
Yeah.
Then she grabs them and rips her face.
She doesn't pull
Literally
them
off.
up the way that they came in. She pulls them outward.
Yeah, she pulls them.
Outward, yeah.
Oh my god! And it worked.
Ripping her whole face off.
We were all there writhing. Like there's blood everywhere. There's still spiders coming out.
Yeah.
And this scene is so long. And then meanwhile, it's cut to Samantha outside going, she's just screaming her name. I don't remember what her name was. It might have been like Heather or something.
Yeah.
But she's just like calling her name while this girl's flailing in a pile of spiders and blood. Eventually, she climbs all the way up, gets through the window.
Yeah.
Doesn't see her immediately.
Breaking and entering. Doesn't call the police.
Sees her on the floor and is just like, oh my god. Dude, it was one of the best moments of the movie. Bloody Mary. I didn't see her there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like they have a bunch of urban legend deaths. She's not really a part of almost any of them.
Well, I mean, she's kind of like the deity of urban legends or something.
Yeah, everyone kind of accredits like the weird. Well, not everyone. Like the main characters accredit the weird deaths happening to her.
Well, again, much like in a post-Scream world, there's a blueprint. It actually kind of felt like the skeleton to Final Destination, where it's like, death has a order, or death has a, what do they call it? Like a plan?
Yeah.
And they're killing people based on revenge of who, like, let Bloody or Mary die. And
their kid.
yeah, it's, what do they say? Like, the kids are doomed to suffer the sins of their parents.
Yeah.
And, like, the way people die, we get a dude... I don't know what the hell is the urban legend where a dog is hung, and it's like, I know the story from other horror movies, but it's like, oh, somebody's in bed and they put their hand down and their dog's licking their hand and whatever, and then later on in the night their dog's like licking their hand. They go to the closet because they hear something and their dog's hung, and written in blood it says like humans can lick too. It's almost like a creepypasta.
Yeah,
but in this
exactly.
movie, it happens in such a way that every time the dog is licking the hand, we see the dog.
Yeah.
So then when the dog's dead, it's like, wait, okay, but the dog licked the hand every time.
Exactly. And it was almost to the point where it's just like, and they're juxtaposing licking the hand with like him watching porn. So it already feels...
Oh, it felt dirty.
It already feels nasty.
He was drinking a 40, too. Don't forget that.
Exactly. So this motherfucker's drinking.
So he's
and
holding a
watching
40 with one hand.
Yeah.
Eating chips with the other hand that the dog is licking.
Yeah. And he's going back in the bag.
No, I was watching for that. I don't think he put the hand back in the chip bag after
He did.
the dog
No,
licked
but
it.
no, he didn't. He
That bag
didn't.
was empty.
Well, towards the end, but he
It's
was
so
about
gross.
to.
It implied that maybe he had been.
Well, it also, in my
But
mind,
this-
I'm thinking, I'm like, what are you about to do to that dog? I don't want to see.
I know, it really did feel like, is
It
he about to like
lasted-
hook up with that dog?
for way too long.
It
Well,
was.
The thing is that scene doesn't work in any regard because there's kind of like, it feels like a bunch of red herrings in that room.
Yeah.
And then he goes outside because he's like, fuck, I need to get more chips. And earlier in the slumber party, they mentioned the lamest urban legend I've ever heard, which is, Tanner put his hand in the vending machine, it fell on him and he died.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not an urban legend.
Yeah. It's just
Like,
some.
I mean, maybe. Oh, there's a. If someone like pushed it or something, but there was nothing. It's
Well, I
just
mean,
like,
it could happen. It's just like, what would justify that as an urban legend?
yeah, that wasn't.
That's just dumb shit. That's
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
just
like, oh, I didn't look both ways crossing the street and I got hit, or oh, I was tightrope walking on a overpass of a highway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I fell. Oh, urban legend. It's yeah. So the thing fell. It didn't hit him. Actually, he made off like a bandit.
I mean, that vending machine seemed light as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, also,
It's almost like he pushed it away a little bit, like it was.
dude, he got
made
his
of
arm
cardboard.
deep in there.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever stuck your hand in a vending machine?
Yeah, I tried to before. That
You
shit
can't
is-
do it.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
impossible.
designed to not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Works
arm,
that way.
that little flap bends up and it blocks you. Not him.
He got in there shoulder deep.
Yes. Honestly, it felt like he could have been able to grab something. Anyway, it didn't kill him. He goes back in the room. I don't know. How
gets
did
some
he
free
end up
snacks.
dying? Oh, Bloody Mary like tackled him and like stabbed him.
She came out under the bed.
No, okay. How did I forget that? She comes out under the bed, kind of implying she was licking his hand.
Yeah.
Although we watched the movie, she
Yeah,
didn't.
we don't see
She
it do it.
takes the 40 from him, hits him in the head with it, shatters.
Yeah.
But only in a perfect like knife.
Yeah.
So she's still holding the neck of it, and she slits his throat. Then, as he's like dying on the floor, she stabs him like 20 times.
Yeah.
But before that, she like shows him the finger in the bottle, which I
I
guess is
forgot.
another urban legend.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
So they talk about the movie. They're like, oh, the urban legend of like the finger in the bottle. And so no, while he's drinking, while he's getting his hand licked by this dog, you see the finger in the bottle, but he doesn't see it because
doesn't
he's
see it.
watching his porno.
Yeah.
So he finishes the whole beer, still doesn't see the finger. Then after all that shit happens, he falls on the floor. Bloody Mary comes out. She grabs a bottle and shows him
Yeah,
like,
she
look,
shows him.
I
Yeah.
was trying to do this other urban legend. You wasn't listening, so fuck it. Now I'm just gonna have to
Also,
cut your ass.
that finger had a damn class ring on it.
it was from the other guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a ring on it. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it should have
like
been making noise
It would
in
have
there.
clanked
Yeah.
against the side at some point.
Well, also, it was the finger was from another character who died slightly earlier in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Now this motherfucker, he looks like a caveman with two pirate earrings. He's got like large gold loops. He's driving a pickup truck, and he's got that classic horror trope of, I'm driving on the road and holy shit, there's a ghost girl in front of me.
Yeah.
Now, this fool drives right through her and kind of calmly pulls over to the side of the road. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess, being ignorance is bliss here. He just didn't give a fuck and he's fine.
Yeah.
So he gets out, looks around, and he's like, oh shit. And he goes back in the car and he grabs a beer. And we're like,
No.
what the hell? He pounds it.
He finishes He finishes the beer. He already had it open beer. He finishes that
Did you
one.
notice the beer before though?
No, they never showed it.
Okay,
You
they
just see
didn't
him-
show it. Good.
Yeah, he brings it up to his mouth. So you didn't know that he had it in his hand, but magically, in the magical world of cinema, he just randomly just has it. Finishes that one, throws it down, grabs another one from the cooler in the back, and drinks that while walking over to go take a piss.
Yeah, and-
like, oh, you almost hit this girl, but hey, maybe another beer will help you drive.
Dude,
better.
it was so weird because it felt like I was almost like rooting for him. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you beat the horror movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Me
oh, but
too.
now you're drinking, you fucking idiot. You had it. And he walks over there, and the whole time you're thinking, oh, is there going to be a finger in the beer? Like, how is that? Is he going to choke on it?
Yeah,
That's
'cause-
so fucking dumb.
Well, because this is a canned beer too, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, where are we going with this? So then he walks over and he starts peeing. And again, I am reminded of what movie? Black Sheep? Do y'all know your Chris Farley movies?
oh, Black Sheep.
It
yeah,
had
I
a
remember
similar gag where the in-laws were trying to stake the claim or whatever. I don't know. There was money involved. There was some Adam Sandler
that.
shit.
So long out.
It was either Black Sheep or Tommy Boy.
Sam.
It was one of the two. And so our character walks over there and he's peeing on a fence, and then the camera pans over and it says high voltage. And I remember late 90s that being a thing. Like Ren and Stimpy
Yeah.
did it. They had the game Don't Pee on the Electric Fence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I haven't like that went away like spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
And people just don't talk about that shit anymore. And they did it. You know what? No, Bloody Mary showed up there. because she flipped the electricity
oh, yeah,
on.
flipped it on. Yeah.
She had one of those old timey like Hunchback of Notre Dame switches that she flipped, and then
I don't understand why it wasn't just already on. Like this, she came back as a spirit just to turn it on. When we didn't even need to. It could have just already been on.
Well, I honestly have no idea.
And he flew hella far.
And then I believe the coroner showed up and went, "Holy shit, his dick's on fire," or something. They was like, "What?"
It was like his dick is smoking.
Yeah. And they're like, "Dude, somebody stole his finger." And then one guy went, "That's not funny, man. Clearly a coyote ate it."
Yeah.
Like there's so much like fun dialogue in here.
Bro, the dialogue. Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Like the dialogue is just like weirdly like this weird dark humor that's going on. It doesn't seem like it's intentional. Like,
what are you pulling up? You took notes about the dialogue?
He wrote down
like,
his favorite lines.
Fuck, I didn't write it down. But it was like,
that's some good chronic.
No, not even that. So the son is like, Samantha has a brother, and his existence in the movie is pointless until like the third act.
Well, no, hold on. I got to stop you there because now after the slumber party, one of the things that we both complained about was perspective in this film is constantly jumping.
Yeah.
And we jump away from the girls, and it's on the brother for a while, and he's having a weird interaction with his mom, where she's like. So he's got a stepdad, and we don't know that by this point, but his dad is a politician.
Well, they make that very clear.
Well, the politician thing is very clear.
Like, they literally have signs all over that says vote.
And then the next day, he comes out and he's like, "Where's Bill?" Or Owen, I think, or something. Yeah. And she's like, "Can you call him Dad?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're lucky I still call you Mom." And she made some comment about like, "Well, when you wake up blacked out in Tijuana,
yeah,
then you can be an adult." And he was like, he made some comment about date rape.
Yeah, he said he's like there was a dead hooker in my room. He was like,
okay, yeah. She said, he said until there's a dead hooker in my room.
Yeah, a dead Mexican hooker in my room.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck kind of relationship is this?
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I know it did not feel very nurturing. Anyway, they walk out in the front room and all the girls are gone, and it looked like they had a party and it was like done. But they're like, where are they? We haven't seen them. They're gone, and they're instantly like.
And then the montage is interesting, just the fade in and outs.
Well, yeah, and honestly, it felt like the whole protagonist, like clearly the girls were going to be the lead here.
Yeah.
But then I bought in, and I was like, oh shit, are we shifting over to the brother now?
Yeah. But then it shifted somewhere else.
Well, there's a moment where we linger in that for a while, and they're trying to find the girls, and they put out a police report, and the police come, and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a shot of the brother sitting in like a lazy boy, and he's looking at the TV, and the TV's off. And there's a reflection of his sister, and she looks disheveled and like dead, and she's walking in the room. And it's a brief moment, but it feels like, oh, they're doing like some Bloody Mary shit. Like she's a ghost and you can only see her in the mirror.
Yeah.
And nope, she's there.
No,
and she's like, oh, I woke up in the basement at school. And it's like, wait, really? Like the whole time you're just waiting for her to like vanish or something.
Yeah.
No, it turns out the football team roofied her and her friends and then left them at the school basement.
Yeah, like they make that very clear, and even them, they admit to doing it.
Well, the sheriff, remember, he's like, we found Rohypnol in them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh my God. And like the parents look at each other and he's like, don't worry, we ran a test kit. They were fine. And it's like, don't you have to ask the parents if you're going to do like a rape kit on a minor before?
Well, he did like they in this movie they did this thing that I hate about like a lot of like independent, well, not even just independent films, but like lower budget films do this.
This is straight to DVD, I'm sure.
Well, like it's like, let me explain all the things that happen off screen to you right now through this dialogue. Like,
exposition dumps, yeah.
It's just it like but it was funny because this happened right after. So after they do the Bloody Mary thing, right? Then they have like this weird montage where it's like it seems supernatural. They're like, oh my God, like in all these like fast cuts, and then they're gone. Then then we cut to the brother going in and being like, hey, like where are the girls?
Yeah.
So you, in your mind, you think like, oh, it's some supernatural shit. But no, it's clearly these regular fucking football players at their high school who did this shit. So I'm just
also
curious
none of that's on screen, and they just mentioned, oh, they showed up and they said they just wanted to talk, and it's like you're so removed from that moment in the film, and like we've been hanging out with the brother that it just feels like a lie.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, she's lying, or she's like something terrible happened, and I guess no, they just pranked them.
No, they did, and everyone is talking about it. It's like, why aren't these dudes in jail? Like why?
Yeah.
Like why isn't anything? Like it's just that the whole plot and story just keeps going. Well, we're on to this next thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I really like this movie.
You liked it?
Oksana, back me up.
I liked it too. I don't know. It was pretty bizarre. Like a lot of the dialogue and.
I was so confused the whole movie because like the editing was so like jumpy and it's just like you said, like with the perspective thing, like we went from the brother after like the girls are gone, like we went from the brother, so I'm thinking like, okay, now we're seeing it from his perspective, but we very quickly go back because then she comes back. But even with the girls, you don't see the two other girls that was in the slumber party in the beginning. They
kind of fade out. Yeah.
But they were kidnapped too. But in the movie, they always reference Samantha as like the main girl as her being the one who was kidnapped. When it was like, no, she was kidnapped with two other girls. But they
stopped talking to her because they blamed her for it.
Yeah, and it's weird because the protagonist in this film is a victim who's uncovering. She's trying to get to the bottom of a curse that is affecting the people that
did some fucked up.
Yeah,
the ones who kidnapped her, who basically did the same thing that was done to Bloody Mary in the 50s or whatever,
dude,
or the 69.
What a weird like narrative, like what a weird story. I mean, I love that kind of shit because you can tell Maria Lambert, I believe, directed this. She's it's that case where you look at her IMDb and it's like, oh, her first 5 things she shot are all Madonna music videos. Like she was doing A-list huge musical acts and then pivoted into doing feature horror films, and it's like, man, what was that movie last year that I enjoyed, the gothic horror one? It was called like The Turning, maybe. Was that it?
Yeah, that was from like a couple years ago.
Yeah, like that was another music video director who moved into it, and like they bring a style and like an editing choice that just, it doesn't work for building suspense at all.
Yeah.
But in this film, we get kind of like Italian horror, kind of like Argento style kills. They're like these long, rhythmic, like drawn out things.
The kills I like, even as like cheesy as like the CGI and shit could be. The kills I did enjoy.
Dude, they're just so like interesting looking.
Yeah,
and
it was
weird.
It was different. It was different than what you would normally see. It wasn't like a situation where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Bloody Mary hopping out the reflection and killing somebody, even though she did do that.
Well, okay. A couple other things I thought were interesting. A lot of people get punched in the face in this movie.
Bro, it's a lot of punching.
It never gets tired. Every time I loved it every single time. The Grace character. What a weird.
Goodness.
So in these movies, like tropes for POCs. Mm. They usually end up being like, what's a common one, like the mystical Indian.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to like deflate that one right now because they're doing a version of it here where it's kind of like white people are so imbued in like the Enlightenment and like science and facts that Western culture just is blind to the world of spiritualism. And that's why, in The Exorcist, we have to turn to the church to like fix it because there's just nothing the modern world can do. And a lot of the time you end up with a, hey, do we have a minority around? And, a good example of that is Paranormal Activity 2, where it's really just a evolution of the first one. Like, we're going to do part 1 again, but we have a bigger family, which in horror films usually just means more kills, right? Yeah. We kill more people. And in that one, they have, I believe her name is Maria, who is the landlady. Like, she's the maid.
Yeah.
And they do the thing where it's like, oh, hey, our minority friend, like, she's immune to the Western culture blindness, and she can tell us how to deal with a ghost. In this movie, Grace doesn't really feel that way.
Nah.
She's kind of like an interesting pothead. Like she has like on her coffee table is just this giant tray of weed.
Yeah.
A couple of times we see her holding a bong. Like we never actually see her hit it, but she's got like insight into the psychedelia or something. It's really loose and weird. It's like, why are y'all turning to her? Because she has some paintings?
Yeah, they make her out to be like this earthly, artsy, hippie chick. I mean, she has the hippie van or whatever.
She's got like some loose tie-dye.
Yeah.
Like it actually was a camo. God,
No, it was like
the fashion in this movie was so weird.
Yeah,
that olive
was
pea coat
strange.
with that like scarf that you kept pointing out. You're like, damn, that scarf is so perfect every time we cut
It
to
is
her.
like you're running from somebody who's trying to kill you, and that scarf is just nicely wrapped around your neck. But no, like, yeah, she was that character who was the enlightened one who was able to explain it. I was noticing they did the same thing in now that you said that in I Still Know What You Did last summer. With the guy, they actually used the same dude who played in The Shining, the brother, the old school brother who taught.
Oh, you're talking about the sequel with Jack Black?
Yeah, with Jack Black as oh my god,
The Rastafarian Jack Black.
That's oh my god, he
well, we got Brandy in that movie too, right?
Yeah,
and
fine
she
ass
makes
Brandy.
it.
Oh my god,
she survives.
she does. I'm surprised, but nah, her boyfriend didn't.
Nope.
But yeah, we had like he was the guy from The Shining who played in I Still Know What You Did last summer.
Yeah.
He played a similar character where he was like telling them all this shit. But no, like it was interesting that she played that role, but then she was like aloof too.
Yeah, she kind of subverts that trope because
Yeah.
she's not really like a mystic. It's not like she sits down and does tarot cards. She actually is just a survivor of the original trauma.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like she can kind of tell her about it and point him in the right direction, but
it makes sense for her at this point addiction to weed, because it's like she's trying to escape.
She's
that
medicating.
shit. Because in reality, I mean, that would happen. Like if you dealt with like somebody tried to fucking like rape you and shit.
Yeah.
You were drugged. You probably gonna medicate to try to deal with
again. I feel like the movie goes out of its way to be like, oh, but they didn't rape them. And it's like, I don't know. Why did you choose to tell a story where a bunch of like football pplayers are like giving girls roofies if you're not going to imply that they raped them?
They're not going to fucking put them in a car to, I don't know, play poker.
Dude, it looked bad.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that, but her character is just funny because I don't know, what are we doing here? Like she opens the door and she's like, the first word she said, and you barely understand what she's saying. She's like, "Power to the people, free Angela Davis."
I was waiting. I knew you died when
it was just like, what? And then she closes the door. Then we're like,
she shuts the door on him, like shutting him out.
And then the characters are confused, and then the brother, he puts his fist up and says, "Power to the people," and she opens the door like that was the password.
Like, all right, come on in.
Yeah,
I think
come on.
literally.
Yeah.
And the movie's fucking weird.
it is like
Oksana, I feel bad. You're over here fading. How long we been talking?
For like 3 hours.
Oh yeah, we're at like a 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we're bringing back them 2-hour, 3-hour long
know.
episodes, baby.
It's only 1:30 in the morning, and
I'm up, bruh. I told you I ain't going to sleep.
are you
gave me that
going into
coffee.
work tomorrow?
Don't go into work. Fuck that job.
Let's end this episode.
I know, but are you going into work? Okay, I am. So I don't feel terrible.
Nah, you calling sick too? We
No,
churning
you
up.
know what? Again, Clark and Randy, you both knew this would happen. We came in. I had all the intentions in the world of being good and like short. It's like we already talked about Lamb. We don't have to do that. Instead, I felt like I beat it around the bush a little bit. We came back to it, and then we spent an hour on a movie.
Going beat by beat, which I was avoiding doing.
What?
I know, but
Bloody Mary?
Hey man, but it's fun. Yeah. And I mean, how often are we doing like a tired drunk while drinking show?
No, say the line. Say the line that she says.
What line?
Bruh, okay. Matter of fact, no, I changed my mind. I like this movie. This movie's funny. Like, it's fun. You know what it made me think of?
Oh, when she said I should have been drowned at birth or something?
Oh, bruh.
Or as a kid?
Yo.
Or what about, are you smoking crack?
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's just a thing you don't hear anymore in film.
like the dialogue was strange because but it's also real though. Like somebody would say, like, I mean, I say stupid shit like that. Like you don't crack.
Well,
like
she says it so straight faced and like doesn't ever crack a smile.
Exactly. So it's done straight, and it's like you don't expect these characters to say shit like that. Like when you're seeing a scene set up like this, you're not expecting somebody to say, "Are you smoking crack?" Like she literally says it like that, or just like the morbid humor of like, "Yeah, I should have been drowned at birth," and then he's just like, no one reacts to it like damn, y'all depressed.
It felt very 90s to me in that way. Like kind of like where the kids were like too smart for their age or something and like kind of sarcastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should wrap this thing up.
I think we talked about this movie for its entire run.
More than anybody else ever has, but it's fine, you know.
But wait. I just want to say this one part about the movie. We can't.
Okay, go for it.
So at the I don't give a fuck. I was spoiling this. So at the third act of the film, so we find out that Samantha has to take the original Bloody Mary's body and bury it because she didn't have a proper burial because no one was able to find her body. So she goes with the hippie black lady, right, to the school to go grab her body so she can help her bury the body. She goes, she grabs the body, comes back to the van, and the hippie lady, we think, because they're getting chased by some hooded figure that we don't know who it is, and we think that, oh shit, she's dead.
Yeah.
But she's like waking her up. The hippie lady fell asleep from a fucking weed coma.
Now, you know.
And what's the line that she says?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like you think the character isn't as informed as the audience because she doesn't know she's like in a horror movie, even though by this point it should be clear.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, she's not bleeding in there. Like Grace doesn't look like she looks dead.
Yeah.
But she hasn't been stabbed. Yeah, and then she just assumes like, oh, she passed out from smoking, and that's what she says.
Oh damn, that must have been some strong chronic.
Yeah, she's like, oh, some strong chronic.
Chronic?
Like, what the fuck? Like,
and it's 2005. I don't think we was saying chronic then. Shit. But bro, that was the funniest shit.
I don't know. Was Dr. Dre big right then? That might have been right in line with this album.
Dr. Dre was, yeah. But that was late 90s, though. That wasn't... I feel like that's too far removed.
I don't know. 2001.
Yeah.
4 years removed. I feel like that culture, yeah.
But
The Chronic.
But, like, for that movie not to be a parody and not be the reason that slowed you down... Like, they were literally seconds away from being killed by the killer. Like, he was chasing after them. And what slowed her down was this high-ass bitch. I think, you get those weird cultural, you get like the out of touch kind of hip parent vibe from all these people that do music video directing, where it's kind of like, oh, I live in the MTV world and I'm coming over here to make a movie, and you're like, that's not regular life. Like you're doing some TRL shit right now, and nobody talks about that's some good Chronic. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up. I love you to death, Jahsaudi, and I knew this would be a lot of fun. I don't know if we have another guest fall through. I don't see why we couldn't. I don't see why we couldn't. I want
just
to drink some more of this fucking wine mixed with vodka. I don't know why you did that. That's a fucking death trap.
Well, also,
I love it.
I wanted Terrell to be in here, but him and his boyfriend, they both had work at like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not much later than I do, but they're responsible. They're not going to be up here until 1:30 talking about Bloody Mary, urban legend. Well, all right. How many movies you got left to wrap this Bloody Mary thing up?
I believe I have 26.
All right. Well, we got 2 weeks left. 2 more episodes in October.
Yeah.
I want to watch another one now.
All right. Well,
put me on the.
I hope y'all
watch another one.
had fun with us, just like fucking around late night like this. Don't get used to it. I'm sure Clark is going to be very mad at me.
This is going to be our new episode. This is going to be our new segment.
Hey, you know what? When you start your show, I will happily come over there and do whatever you want like this.
Bruh, we
just
should.
don't delete it.
I'm not. We're going to record it here. You're going to have the files.
All right. Say goodbye to people.
All right, guys. Have fun. Stay dangerous.